All right, let's talk about building your professional playbook. You know that feeling of uncertainty about your career? We're going to replace that with a clear, confident blueprint for exactly what comes next. Ready? Let's dive in.
So here's how we're going to do it. First, a quick career readiness check. Then we'll totally reframe how you think about your resume. After that, we'll get into framing your impact, building a real career roadmap, and finally, I'll give you an action plan you can start using, well, today.
Okay, first things first, your career readiness check. Before you build anything, you've got to know where you're starting from, right? This is all about some honest self-reflection.
Let's just cut to the chase. If your absolute dream job popped up tomorrow, would you be 100% ready to go? Be honest. For a lot of us, the answer is probably, not really. And hey, that's okay. That is exactly what we're here to fix. And that really gets to the heart of all this. You know, a successful career isn't about guesswork or just getting lucky. It's about being prepared, having real clarity, and taking action consistently. All right, let's talk about the cornerstone of this whole playbook, your resume. Seriously, we have to stop treating it like some dusty old history report. It's time to see it for what it actually is, your #1 marketing document. And this right here, this is a huge mindset shift. Your resume is not your life story. It is not a list of every single thing you've ever done. It's a targeted ad for you. Its only job is to prove your value to an employer, and it has to do it fast. So, what makes a great resume? Well, it's short, easy to scan, and this is the big one. It focuses on your achievements, not just your duties. Now, putting a number on it is easy if you're in sales, right? Increase sales by 15%. But what about everyone else? Here's a little trick. Think problem, action, result. What was the problem? What did you do? And what happened because of it? So instead of just saying manage social media, you say something like grew audience engagement by 40% in 6 months by rolling out a new content strategy. See the difference? That's proving your value. And of course, there are things you absolutely should not do. Please ditch that unprofessional email address you made in middle school. Proofread everything, then proofread it again. Seriously, your career kind of depends on it. And unless you're a graphic designer, remember that professional usually means clean and simple, not a bunch of fancy graphics. Now that professional summary at the top, that's your 30-second elevator pitch. You've got maybe 3 or 4 lines to hook a recruiter and tell them exactly who you are, what you're bringing to the table, and what you're looking for. Make it count. Okay, let's get into what might be the single biggest game changer for your resume. We're talking about shifting from just listing your duties to actually proving your impact. This is what separates the people who blend in from the people who stand out. And this is the perfect example. Look at this. Worked in sales. Okay, that tells me what you did. But increased monthly sales by 15%? Now that tells me the impact you had. One is just a fact. The other is a result. One is forgettable. The other proves you can get things done. You always want to aim for impact. So if the resume shows what you did, the cover letter is where you explain why it all matters for this specific job. It has to answer those 3 big questions. Why are you the right person? Why do you want this particular role? And why do you want to work at this company? It's your chance to tell a story and prove you're not just blasting out applications. All right, so your resume is looking sharp. That's your ticket to get in the door. But now we need to zoom out. A great resume is a tactic, but a career roadmap, that's your strategy. It's time to plan your next couple of years. And any good plan starts with knowing what you're working with. So let's do a quick self-assessment. What are, say, 5 skills you're really confident in? What are 3 areas where you know you need to get better? And what industries are you actually interested in? Getting this stuff down on paper isn't just busy work. It's the foundation for everything that comes next. Once you have that self-assessment, building the roadmap becomes a really simple 3-step process. Step 1, define your direction. You got to know where you're going. Step 2, build the skills you need. You just identified the gaps. Now you go fill them with courses or projects. And step 3, gain exposure. It's great to have skills, but they don't do you any good if nobody knows you have them. You got to network and build a presence. Let's put a time frame on this. A 2-year plan is super effective. Think about it like this. Year 1 is your building year. This is when you're taking courses, working on projects. You're literally creating the new bullet points for your future resume. Then year 2 is your launch year. That's when you start targeting jobs, but you're not just hoping for the best. You're coming in with a portfolio of proof that you are ready. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground. But look, all this knowledge is pretty useless if you don't do anything with it. So this last part is all about action. It's about turning this from something you just watched into something you actually go and do.
So here's your challenge for this week. It's really simple, totally manageable. Just pick one of these things to do each day. Maybe today you improve one section of your resume. Tomorrow you research one job description. The next day you identify one skill gap. These are small steps, but small, consistent actions are what build incredible momentum.
And really, that's the biggest takeaway here. A career isn't something you just choose one time and then you're done. It's something you build piece by piece every single day. Every skill you learn, every person you talk to, it's all part of the construction. So I want to leave you with this. Opportunities favor the prepared. The most important word in that sentence isn't opportunities, it's prepared. Build your plan now. Get your playbook ready before the perfect job shows up, because when it does, you won't be scrambling. You'll just be ready.